I managed the cheese shop for about 6 years, and every weekend somebody would come in and say, is there a coffee shop? Is there a coffee shop in town? And I'd be like, oh, there's McDonald's, there's a gas station. No, unfortunately not. And they're travelers coming from all over the world.
Yeah, because
they don't want McDonald's coffee.
Yeah.
So I didn't love the job. I mean, I liked the Cuba cheese shop, but I wanted to do something different.
Right.
I didn't want to do that forever. So I woke up one morning, I'm like, I'm opening a coffee shop. I already have the info. I already have,
How many times can you do? Right, because you're a business.
Yeah, I don't have to do any research.
No, I've had
it was
like 10,000 people come in
and they had an average of 300 people a weekend. And I'm like, well, if I could just get this many people off of 86 to come into a coffee shop,
right?
I can make this work. And so that's kind of how I did it. And I would, as I was there, I would try to do some looking up on stuff. And I visited probably 30 different coffee shops. Just every weekend I would, kind of do it.
So just to see.
Just to see, talk to the owners, and then that's how it happened. And then I saw Mike Doyle, and he said he had an empty space. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect.
So did you just run into him one day? Or was this like...
I don't remember where I met. I might have even been to Copper Keg or somewhere, but somebody told me that.
But you knew that there was a space, right? But at that point, did you know that?
And then I had 2 other women that were in business with me at that point.
Okay.
But they've they've gotten out. One girl just didn't want it to be that big. She wanted it to be a hobby, but it couldn't. Yeah, it couldn't be a hobby.
It's a business.
Sorry,
that trio.
Yeah, it can't be a hobby. No. So I started adding food, and she decided she wanted to get out of it because it was just too much.
Right.
She was closer to the retirement age.
I see. But this was your baby from the get-go.
Yeah. Yep.
So you started this because you had the idea.
Yep.
But I love this because it wasn't just like you fell into it because of something. This was your intent.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
It was like that was your goal. So you ran into Mike. Did you know that it was like an incubation thing at that point, like prior to meeting with him, or did he explain that to you?
I didn't really know much about it. I just heard, how you hear stuff. I just heard that there was an empty space there, that they were going to, run out. Right. And we talked to Mike, and he said, sure, and then we just kind of went forward with that. The other girls which made it easy to start up. And then, one thing led to another. Now I'm glad that I'm by myself.
Sure.
We're still friends and stuff.
And how many years ago was this now?
8.5 years.
Wow.
There.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So you passed the 5, man. That's all you gotta do.
Yes, I know.
You pass the 5 and you're good.
And that's what everybody said to me, and I was like, they're right.
Yeah.
They're right.
Because there's a reason for that. Because out of millions of businesses, people started realizing, wait a second, if I made it through the first half dozen years, then you're good. You are good. Because you generally by 6 years you've seen you've seen the cycle.
Yep.
And once you can get past
January and February are going to be slower,
And you also had the experience too.
Yep.
Prior to that of running businesses. What did you do before Cuba Cheese?
I taught, and then I ran Carpies on the lake.
I went to the
I ran Carpies for about 14 years.
Oh my God.
So I had lots of experience in that field.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to work days. I wanted to work a business where it was days. I had kids, and I didn't want to miss out on any of their sports. So I thought if I opened a coffee shop 6:30 to 4 every day, I don't have to miss out on anything.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
See? So there was a real reason for this too.
So it worked out great.
So the Palmer and you and Light of the Moon are this beautiful, like, unified business, really.
Yeah.
Now, when you were younger, because you grew up here, you saw the Palmer as just this building is about to fall to the ground.
Well, when I grew up, it was Country Heart. We came here to the stores downtown or downstairs.
Okay, so tell me about. Nobody's mentioned this to me.
So Country Heart was like, they sold material and anything. It was like a nickel and dime store.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I would come and get candy after school. You could get anything. You could get dungarees, they called them back then, right?
I still do. So like a Vidler's.
Yes. Yeah.
But a real Vidler's.
Yeah. But you could go in there and get anything.
Right.
You could get yarn, you could get material, you could get, shoes, jeans. I mean, it was everything.
Right.
So that was like our favorite place to go as a kid. And now we're in there, So it's pretty exciting.
Really cool.
Yeah.
That is really neat. Yeah. I love that because that's because I had places when I was a kid too, and you're like, they're gone.
Oh, and you remember it. Yeah. And people, like customers that come in, that are older than myself would always be like, was this the Carpenters? Was this country? Or it was called Country Heart.
Okay.
So they remember it as that.
Oh, that's so cool.
So it even makes it more fun to come. And
but then
what building were you? They always ask,
Yeah, but that gives you a sense of pride on top of everything else that, now you're in this building that's seeing this. Now the future's like unlimited here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you've established yourself. Light of the Moon's established itself. The Palmer's reestablished itself. And now Cuba has reestablished itself.
Oh, yeah. It's grown tremendously.
Give credit where credit's due. It was you guys.
Yeah. All it was great. It was, we started and there was nothing. And I'm like, and then every year something new came in, so it was exciting.
Yeah, and now, what's awesome? The brewery and you are such perfect complements to each other.
It's going to be great.
And it's right across the street from one another.
Yeah, Cuba, and a lot of people come in, they're like, you guys are like the new Ellicottville or the, you know.
But you're Cuba.
So, yeah, we're Cuba.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it is way different than Ellicottville.
Yeah.
And it's, I say it's the perfect version of Ellicottville. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's what you want. And nothing wrong with Ellicottville, but, on my show, I don't do towns like that because they don't need any help.
Right.
But they've Disneyfied that town. They've commoditized it.
Yeah.
Why not? Right?
Exactly.
Because, you can. But I love that this is so beautiful and so charming. It's real. It's
wonderful. And the lake,
it's everything that you would want.
Yeah.
It's just the right size and it's just the right amount of everything.
And I get to hear that daily from people, we have so many travelers. I mean, I don't even know sometimes if I would make it on just local people. We're in the perfect spot because we're off 86.
Yeah, you're just.
So, we're very lucky.
It's a type of town that I was telling Michelle this when I first met her. Like, you pull off a throughway and let's say you got to pee, right? You pull off and you're like, hey, what's there? And then, either the guy or the woman's going to go, I'm kind of hungry or I'm kind of want some coffee or something. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like this town has that way about it where you get off the throughway and like, it's down that road there.
Yeah, everybody always comes in, they're like, I did not expect, this place to be here. We came to get coffee or whatever. Right. So... yeah.
And so the impact in the Palmer's had on the town has been...
it's been huge. We wouldn't be here without the Palmer, ourselves. But we just, all of us, all three businesses together. Every day I say, if people's food are taking a little bit longer, I say, oh my gosh, you should go over and check out the Cheese Museum. You should go check out the Light of the Moon. Yeah. And nobody minds waiting, for their food. Not that they have to wait a long time, but if it's going to be 10, 15 minutes, go check it out. And they come back to get their food, and they have a little bag in their hand, so it's really exciting.
Right, that's awesome. But
so
but see, that's Mike's mindset.
Yeah.
When he did that, Mike was like, "Look, it's got to be businesses that will work in this space. It's got to be businesses that will attract other businesses and businesses that people can frequent."
Yeah,
and that's
he tells me, all the time. He's like, "We're just so thankful." You know what I mean?
Well, listen, what you've done with just you and that coffee shop, even without Light of the Moon, that's a big deal because you put a business in town that's been here for 9 years now, right?
Yeah.
And you've proven that businesses can be here and thrive. Yeah. And beautiful business. It's a beautiful business you have. So that changes the mindset of everything.
Yeah.
Right? Would the ants be here? No. Right? Would the brewery want to come in here? No.
Yeah. And the girl from the brewery last summer, she questioned me, are you busy? Do you tell me about your customers? Tell me, what I mean? I'm like, you will do good. You believe me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People are wanting to come to Cuba. They're wanting to come. We tell them all the stuff that goes on. We tell them about the other shops down the other end of town. And they're like, oh my gosh, I got to bring my girlfriend here. I've got to bring friends, And they're like, we can make a day out of Cuba now. Going around to all the businesses. We're so excited because 8.5 years ago, there was nothing. They're like, what is there to do in Cuba? I'm like, I don't know what to tell you besides eat coffee and
drive around the lake.
Yeah, there's really not much to do. We get all the lake people. We get a lot of feedback about the Opera House.
Right.
And I try to know what's going on because it's constant. People ask what's going on.
Right.
What's going on this weekend, and they want to know.
You're a coffee shop, so it's a socialized experience anyways, and they do expect people, I just know from my own life, you expect people at a coffee shop to have the in on things.
They want to know all over town, so I'm constantly calling the chamber, what is going on this weekend, because I know I'm going to get a ton of people asking me, and I try to inform my employees too.
Just get them
you guys got to know, you have to, some stuff that's going on.
And if you engage a customer and you give, this is just, I mean, I grew up in a restaurant too, it's the same thing. Like you engage a customer that you haven't known before and you give them a good tip and you have a great conversation, then you make the customer for life.
Oh my gosh, they're like, oh, your employees are so friendly and so nice, and so that's really important to me when I do.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Yeah, and that's why you had to be on, because I mean, you're a part of this. The Palmer isn't just the Palmer. The Palmer is the coffee shop in Light of the Moon.
Yeah,
it's great, triple-headed thing, and that like totality of those businesses is really what's made the impact.
And I love doing catering jobs up here, just seeing all the stuff that they do. Michelle is amazing.
Yeah.
This job, she does an incredible job. She knows so many people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she is pipelined in, and the pride that she has. Yes. And the love that she has for this place and the town.
Yep.
And all of you guys, and you too. I mean, it's just like that love and that passion and that pride is what's changed this town.
Yeah.
And now you've attracted Lionel and Terry, right? Yes. And they are just knocking everything up to that next level.
Amazing.
But they've taken your foundation. And like Lionel said, he's like, he loved the town. He's like, I absolutely loved it here, but it needed some things.
We're so lucky.
We're putting those things in. Yeah. Right? And then now you're going to get the brewery. And you know exactly what's going to happen because you've watched it happen.
Yep.
It's like, boom, 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 boom.
Oh, yeah.
And there you go. And then,
it gives me the chills. It's really exciting.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah. And it's what I told Mike this. I call it town raising, like barn raising. But it's that type of thing. Like Mike, the guy who got the troop together to say, we're going to raise this town back up.
Yeah.
And you guys did.
And I hope, with new generations coming up, it's a little scary, but that's why, we try to stay involved with everything and try to get more people involved, because that's what.
And you guys will. What's up, Eric?
Nothing. I was just making sure somebody was still there.
Yeah. So are you good on time? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So your business, where do you see everything like? So you've watched Cuba go from when you were a kid, which it was probably like, I'm 53, so you're probably 45.
I'm 52.
Are you really?
Yeah, be 53.
You're doing good. So we're roughly the same age then. Yeah. So you watched Cuba, because it was probably awesome when you were a kid.
Yeah.
And then you watched the dip, like, we all did, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then you were kind of like, probably like everybody else, you're like, oh, man. And then you went to Florida. I went to Massachusetts and California.
Yeah.
And then, so my question was, what brought you back?
Well, I just love Cuba. The small town. You know what I mean? I like to be able to go to the store and say hello and know people, and it's just a great place. Everybody is so friendly in this area.
Yeah.
And people I've had a lot of employees that don't live in Cuba. I have 4 that live in a different town, Belmont, Bolivar, what I mean? And they're like, Cuba is awesome. People are so friendly. Yeah. And we get friendly people every day. I mean, people are happy getting coffee. They're not going to be complaining about a whole lot.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So but it's just a great town.
No, it is a great town.
And I love the school, and I have 4 children, so I wanted my kids to go to Cuba school.
Right.
So.
In the same school you went to?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Are any of your
my daughter's a teacher here now.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah, so she's a teacher at
You don't
the same
look old
school
enough to have a kid that's, wow.
Thanks.
So how old are they?
I have one that's 29, 28.
Keepers.
And then I had my boys are 18 and 21.
Awesome. So at least they're like, you've done your job.
I did my job there. And my boys were, when I started this, they were 9 and 11, so they had to come to work with me every morning.
But you know what? It's the best thing that ever happened to me working at my parents' restaurant.
Yep. They're both doing great. Yeah.
It socializes you and it hardwires you differently for life. But see, look at all the benefits. Look at the halo effect.
There is. I didn't realize until we talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's like what you did. Like you improved the town. Your family benefited from it. The town benefited from it. Everything benefits from that, because putting a successful business in a town that was just down on its knees, like many of these towns were in Western New York, changes everything.
Yeah.
And Lionel and Terry wouldn't be here.
Oh my
The brewery
gosh,
wouldn't be here.
amazing.
Ida Ann's wouldn't be here. God knows who else is going to come into town and start to percolate and change everything.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah. You guys are sitting on the cusp of something, man. I mean, it was instantly, like, I do this, that's all I do every day, right? So I'm seeing it. So when I go into a town that this is happening, which is rare, and the only other one was Medina. And
Medina?
Yeah, it was the only, but same story as you guys.
Yeah.
They're probably about 7 years further along the turnpike with what they're doing. But same story.
That's awesome.
A couple people came. I did an interview with the man who was the first restaurant in the town, and everybody's like, "Dude, it's never gonna happen. You're an idiot for even trying this." And he did it, and then it just started. It was the catalyst. Started the wheels turning. Started everything, and then people started. And the other similarity that you guys have, you guys own your own businesses, but you own the buildings. A lot of the business owners own the buildings. Yeah. So then you get ownership.
Yeah.
So you're like, does it get more important than that? No, because you're not just like, you know what, if my business doesn't work, if my business doesn't work, the building's not good. I mean, it's just like this whole domino effect. So that's Cuba. Cuba's like just taken this beautiful path now. Yeah. The Palmer was the start.
At the Greenway Trail, there's so many good things.
Right. And so your kids like got to see, because they were 9 when this started.
Yeah.
So they've been part of this as well.
Oh, they've come to work with me every morning and... You know,
but they also saw Cuba on the up.
Yeah.
So they're not like, you know, during that period where Cuba was down and out, they're seeing the positive spin on Cuba.
Yep.
So what would you say has been the biggest impact of the Palmer on the town? Like if you could have like what's the one thing it did?
I just think it's brought so many people together. You know what I mean? I mean, like, people meet upstairs, people meet down, friends that they meet from all over the place. They're like, they haven't seen each other in 10 years. Right. You know, they've all met here, and I just think it's brought a lot of people together. You know, I mean, all of our businesses and.
We kind of named this documentary series "The Heart of the Community."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it does seem like it kind of put the heart back in Cuba. Not that it ever lost its heart, but...
And it's kind of a cool thing, like people will be like, have you been to a show at the Opera House? You haven't? You haven't been to the show at the Opera House yet? You know what I mean? So it's kind of...
It's a thing now.
Yeah, it's like, oh, then, you know...
It turns into something.
Yeah.
And that's why the coffee shop I thought was brilliant. And, you know, I thought when I talked to Mike about this, to me, so not ever coming here, once I realized when I came in your coffee shop and I walked through, I thought this was all by design. Even Light at the Moon. Because I was like, well, we've got an artisan craft store, right, essentially.
Right.
And that's huge because this is an arts building.
Yeah.
And then we've got a coffee shop, which is really an artisan business.
Yeah.
Right? It's just a culinary art.
That's right.
And so it looked to me like it was perfectly designed.
Oh, that's funny.